All right, we're live. Not live, but morning, everybody. I'm the Awakening Angler. We have Mike Yarema, the boss man from I1 Blade Baits. We came out this morning, and it's been a lot of fun. We tried once, and it didn't work. The conditions were wrong. We came out this morning, and we did a full-blown tutorial video on the ins and outs of fishing the bad boy blade. And we had a lot of fun.
Caught some fish today.
Caught some fish. We had, let's see, we fished three spots today. Let's call them three.
I'd say two, but yeah, three.
Two. Okay, we fished. We did multiple drifts in the first spot, fine tuning it. We each got one, couple perch, but it really wasn't happening. And we changed locations, and pretty quickly it happened. And we found a small pot of active fish of all sizes. We didn't have any shorts when we got to this.
Not down here. No.
When we got down here.
Sunfish
and a pickerel, and the rest were walleyes, and a couple of them were pushing 20 inches.
Yeah, two back to back. It was almost 5 casts in a row. That pot was pretty tight and small. But it was
well, you were definitely on 4 casts in a row.
4 casts in a row. Yeah.
Definitely. And the fourth of that 4 casts in a row was, okay, let's film a start to finish cast and have Mike talk his way through so everybody's seeing exactly what's going on. And right at the end of that first talking cast, just stuck one. And it was perfect. So that video is going to be coming out, I don't know exactly when, but it's going to be this week. And it's going to be a standalone feature video on YouTube. But this is our morning fishing report. And so let's tell you the morning. It's Memorial Day today. Everything everyone's doing, have a ton of fun, enjoy everything. But please remember why we have today off. Please remember that Memorial Day is to memorialize the men and women that fought and gave their lives for our freedom. So we can go fishing on Memorial Day, so we can have a barbecue, so we can live in a free country. So please remember that. Let's start and end right there. Now the fishing report. We got water temps out here now that this wind's died down, 69 degrees. We are in Mike's boat today, so I didn't come out of the river. I don't know what the river temp was. We've had air temps they were in the high 50s this morning. We left the dock at about 5:15, and it's supposed to be in the 80s today. It's already, we're losing our drift, and the bite definitely slowed. That wind went down, their activity level went down, although Courtney and I caught fish yesterday afternoon at 2:30 in the afternoon in 5 foot of water. So how much does that matter? If it's the only time you got to go fishing, go fishing. But when you can pick and choose your times, we had it good for a little while this morning.
Definitely had a good run of it. So if you just want to describe the day, we have an east wind. The first spot we picked is where we have a nice east to west drift following a contour line that is basically east to west, which is the natural way this lake sets up. We got down, set up, and turned the boat out sideways and drifted the way we like to. I can control it slightly with the trolling motor should we need to kick it forward or backwards.
Yep.
It's a really nice fishing platform. It's comfortable, it's safe, it's fast, it's everything that I've ever.
It drifts beautifully. This is a Ranger.
Yep.
Tell the people the specifics.
I got a Ranger 620. It's kind of our tournament boat. When I'm not fishing with Craig Sleeman for this lake, this is my boat, and it's also the one we use for our charter business. We got out there, we turned the boat sideways, and we don't even need drift bank today. I'll say it was probably blowing. They gave us a forecast of 2 to 4 out of the east. It was probably blowing somewhere between, I don't know, 9 and 11 on line 12.
I was going to say it was 10 all day long, and normally you would have been, yeah, I thought, going much faster. And then this is my first time fishing out of Mike's boat, and boy, it's a nice platform. And sideways, you're in the trough, you're not getting beat up, you're not getting rolled around, and really boat control was critical. And you want, so well, real quick, and we cover all this stuff in this video that's going to be coming out. In a perfect world, what's your ideal drift speed to have maximum control with your blade?
Oh, with a blade bait. Okay, so I like to be drifting somewhere in that 0.405 on the low side to 0.8 to 1.0 on the top. So that half a mile to 3/4 of a mile drift is what I would call ideal, and it also is depth dependent. If you're going to be fishing a lot deeper, like when we go to the Finger Lakes, we like to slow it down so you can stay on top of your baits. But if you're going to be shallower, fast is fine.
Okay.
There is that sweet spot though for Oneida Lake when you're fishing 12 to 22 foot, which is a lot of the lake.
Right.
We're right in that 3/4 of a mile an hour. You get much faster than 1. It's a little too fast. It's more jig and wrap and hair jig water. And you get a lot shallower where it's fast, and it could be a jerkbait, swim bait bite. But for that perfect 12 to 22 foot, just put that on hold for a second. That perfect 12 to 22 foot, right around that 3/4 of a mile, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8 seems to be key for me, what I like to do. So we got up here, we turned the boat sideways, and didn't require any drift bags for what we had today. And I'll say at one point, when it was blowing out of the east, we were looking at probably a legitimate 2.5 foot seas.
Oh yeah.
Probably rolling maybe some that were bigger, but
Yeah.
it was nice. It's about where you like to call that good walleye chop.
Yeah.
It's probably a little 6-inch roll right now, which I would call a perch chop. Just
Yep.
enough to keep the boat pointed in the right direction on an anchor, but it's definitely slicker than I care for it for walleyes.
And this hot sun's going to get up, and it's going to lay right down. It'll be a nice, pleasure boat afternoon. But real quick before we go, we obviously we only fished blades today, and we were doing the blade video. We both fished, oddly enough, we both fished the same bait, and we were fishing the copper perch. And it was going good guns. Now, you do have a couple brand new colors that you just got in. You want to show everybody those, and are they available already?
I've got the first maybe 60 of these. I put the hooks on 2 of them this morning before our trip, just so we could have something to throw and try. Once again, we're trying to match the hatch. This morning it was a little cloudy, so I pulled out a brighter bait for a few casts. And I still believe that in my heart of hearts, that's a perch pattern where it's got some oranges, some blacks, and some greens. It'll give you that same philosophy, but the copper perch was the showstopper today. No questions. When we hit that pot of fish, that they were eating that thing. We did keep we did keep a couple for my dinner tonight, and I don't see what they're spitting up, but we did catch all manners of perch down here and sunfish. So I got to feel that the fish that are in here are actively feeding on a small school of perch. That's why we went to match the hatch, compared to some of the shallower bites where they're been on bullheads and gobies, where we've been using brown baits. Out here it's some version of green, some version of perch. Once again, spots, dots, and now splatter pattern. Irrelevant to me. I'm looking for something, some version of a perch. Whatever it may be, whether you customize it yourself with a Sharpie or whether you get one from...
I was going to say, hand me this one right here.
Yep.
So, well, this one has, I didn't realize that. Okay, so that's got a very light airbrushed pattern over it.
It does.
So something like this, all of those stripes are hand done after the fact. So it's got this particular one is copper with that let's call it highlighter green tape, but that tape is just one flat tape, and then Mike went and put with a black Sharpie, just a little art class project, and you're just breaking up the silhouette, so when it vibrates, it's giving it the illusion of movement. Any of our friends of the channel that are sitting here watching this right now that might be a goose hunter, I'm a fanatical goose hunter, especially in the old days when they first went to silhouettes, and people have been using silhouettes since they've been hunting geese. It's a 2-dimensional silhouette, and so when the goose is flying this way looking at that silhouette, he doesn't see it. When he's over here and he's broadside to it, he sees it, and then he flies around, that 2-dimensional silhouette changes, so it gives him the impression of movement. It's no different than these baits. Some of them you buy from Mike, and they're a solid flat stock piece of tape, reflective tape, and you can design it however you want. Some of them, they already come with stripes. Famously, Mike says, I don't care if they're stripes, dots, whatever, as long as there's something on there that breaks up that profile and gives that fish, when he's over here looking at it, that little bit of movement, like it's real, like it's got an actual tail and it's getting away from you. So that's that's kind of, listen, that's one of the cool things about your baits too, is they lend themselves to individual customization by the individual angler. And I don't know that there's a bad way or a wrong way to do it.
No, we found that there hasn't, and like I said, this conversation led to you doctoring up that one sandpipe by adding some brown to it, which is exactly what we're looking to do.
Yep.
We've got Sharpies in the boat. When I bass fish more often than not, we'll have those garlic scented dyes in the boat where you can dip the back half of a bait in chartreuse or orange or red to give those just that little bit of an advantage. And I would encourage anyone, if they see something, just make those changes. Be unique about it. Add some stick-on eyes or a Sharpie or whatever it comes down to.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to doctor up a bait. They're not all perfect out of the box. And like I say, we're out testing new things all the time. But today, as far as the test goes, that more natural copper perch, like I say, I threw this one for a short period of time. I tried throwing the brighter bait when it was low cloud cover and it was much darker, and it was most likely the spot. We didn't catch a lot of fish the first spot, but once we got around fish, this bait really shined. Really shined for a lot of different baits.
And real briefly before, because we're going to run long, which whatever, we can do what we want. Real quick, Oneida specific. Tell the guys your theory on very quickly on color and for this lake specifically, color depending on day conditions and what you put into that that thought process when you get out on the water.
It's actually probably more simple than it needs to be, but the base forage in this lake is generally perch. So it's a perch pattern or a gold pattern. There are gobies in this lake, so we will fish a darker bait that resembles that. But I'll tell you, before sunrise, I'll fish a black bait. As the sun gets up high enough or over the clouds, I'll go to a bait that has a pattern, stripes or dots that resembles a perch. And then after sunset, I go to a sterling silver bait because it has more reflective qualities, and I feel at that point any little flash that it can gather, it's going to get it from what ambient light is left after sunset. Now, not into the dark. I'm saying after the sun gets down low enough, and you're not getting that nice light ball to flash effect. So that's that. We'll use a silver bait or a white bait in the fall when the shad are dying off. So October, November, December, shad and silver and white baits, and then again in July. When the shad do hatch, sometimes we use silver baits. But 90% of the baits out here, 90% of what's used, that's hard to put a number on it, but the majority of baits out here would be some version of gold and now some version of perch since it's available. Fire Tiger is a version of perch in my mind, but something of that.
True, and Fire Tiger would be a solid bait with non-metallic reflection. Would you tend to fish that more in a bright sun situation, clear sky, or a dark sky, dark day?
You can probably see with the sun behind the camera that shiny bait with the sun shining on it is I believe to be more important. So you're getting that glisten, that holographic effect, that live look. But in the dark, you don't get anything to reflect. So I go to a solid bait, so you have that shadow of a body.
Okay.
So I'll go to a solid painted blade or a completely black or darn near black bait before the sun gets up, so they have something to key on other than the vibration and feel, because there will be no flash. So that's where the blacks come in. We have it's a black nickel base plate that we'll sometimes put stickers over just to get that illusion of change in color, but the base itself is a black bait.
Okay. I fish a black and purple, and any friends of the channel see it in the mornings. I usually fish a black purple scale I1 in that first. If I'm out here early like I should be, I fish at that first 45 minutes of my day usually. And there's another one, I don't know what it's called. It's an all black faded perch with the little orange head on it.
That's the log perch.
That's the log perch. That's also one of my favorites, and I think that orange head gives those fish something to really key in on. But there you got it, friends. There's your pro tip of the day right here with the man himself. So
what it really comes down to is throw a bait that you have confidence in, and if you get these to work, then you'll gain confidence in it. And even when you're not sure, if you have confidence in your bait, confidence in what you're doing, the fish will come.
Absolutely, confidence is key, and you fish baits better when you know you're gonna get bit on them, period. So that's a huge deal. But there's your pro tip of the day. We're gonna call it a day, and we're gonna go spend the rest of our Memorial Day doing something else fun. There'll be a new video up, I think tonight, from the weekend. Friday's new video is doing exceptionally well. Ooh, the tripod is not right at the moment, so we're gonna get out of here before things get crazy. Let's do a little tip up on 3. 1, 2, keep your tip up. Thank you.